Derby winner, no one can ever take that away from you.
Thank you very much, Brough. It's a great feeling. And, you know, at a time like this, you have to think of it as being teamwork, as you mentioned, for the whole stable, and that's exactly what it is. We've got a great team around us, and it's well done, all of us, really.
Well, they'll be happy back in Beechhurst, but what a performance they set up. I mean, any standards.
Yes, it was so impressive. He did it so efficiently that that was particularly pleasing. He's a very, very good horse.
Well, I'd like you to show you just how good a horse he's show the world this afternoon, because it's an astonishing way. We're actually refixing it now so the icon can see it as well. But it was an astonishing performance, because some people thought that maybe with Derby pressure and everything else he wouldn't be quite as good as before, but he was better than ever today by any standards.
It was very impressive. Lovely thing about the race is that he always had him in a wonderful position, and one never had many worries, you know.
Well, here it is. It's coming up. It's coming up now. Here you are, what, 3 furlongs out. He's gone to the front a long, long way out, but in a way he was towed there.
Well, that's his style, you know.
And here he is, coming up to the 2 furlong marker. He's picked it up and given him a crack. He said to us he was idling, Walter, but you can't have had many worries then.
No, he got it sewn up then. But, you know, the crowd is there cheering over the rail, and it's a little bit distracting for him with nothing up there racing with him.
But, goodness, he's absolutely... I mean, they're so far behind. We almost need another camera to do it. And there's a lovely moment as he goes past the line, and there he goes. He gives him a pat down the neck, which I'm
gave
sure
him a bollocking for that.
Sure, that goes from all of you. But Michael...
No, but I think, and, you know, full credit to that boy. He's only 19, and, you know, the pressure of riding a hot Derby favourite, he's come out of the gate, he's gone and taken up a beautiful position and ridden a peach of a race.
The successful partnership, Michael Stoute and Pat Edry, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
100th winner.
Yes, nice way to do it.
A lovely way to do it.
But we didn't do it on purpose, you know, we've been struggling for a few days, really.
Really? Why?
Well, we've been on 99 for a few days.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
It wasn't intentional.
I thought you meant with the filly.
We didn't wait for this occasion.
No. But sweet revenge for the 1,000 guineas, isn't it?
Yes, and she'd also beaten us in the Marcel Boussac last year on the Triomphe Day. She's a very, very good filly. The score is 2-1, and today we just happened to be in better form than she was.
Right. And this man rode a half-decent race there for you. Pat,
yeah,
how did it go for you? How did you see it?
Well, there was a very good pace early on, and you know, it went fast, and she was always travelling smoothly through the race, and then when I got in the straight from the 2, I asked her to stretch.
You can have a look here, Pat.
Well, just here, Maersk, I saw her head appear, and then from here I sort of picked my whip up and asked Milligram to go on. And you can see from here she starts to really got the second filly stretched. In the last furlong, she was just going away.
Really good. Going away nicely, Michael.
Yeah, she was very impressive today, no doubt about it. But I think this is a filly that she's better now than she was earlier in the year. She didn't really come in time for the 1,000, quite frankly.
And what's the future?
Well, I would think she'd go for the Breeders' Cup Mile at Santa Anita.
Right.
Hollywood Park it is this year, sorry.
Oh, right.
21st of November.
When did Pat know he had the ride? When did you know you had the ride?
Well, Mr. Stoute could tell you more about that.
Oh, a long time ago.
Oh, was
it?
A
long time ago. We always look after Edry, you know. Give him a good spare ride every now and again.
Water Swindon.
That's right, but he wasn't going to leave Sonic Lady. He wouldn't have contemplated that, so we asked Pat after a lot of thought.
Good decision.
Cheers.
Thank you both very much. Congratulations. Thanks, Pat. Michael Stoute.
You'll be pretty impressed with him.
Yes, he did it very well, I thought.
This is a new line for you, Cheltenham Festival. I think some of the trainers who come here every year will be hoping you don't make it a habit.
Yes, well, you know, it was Anthony Stroud's idea initially that we hurdle this horse, and the little bit I know about it, I learned from Tom Jones and Bobby O'Ryan, head man of Pat Rowan's, and it's been a real joint effort. James Fanshawe has made a very big contribution, my assistant, Andy Andrews and Dave Allen, the head men, and I must say Steve Smith-Eccles has put a lot of work into this horse, you know, but after Surfboard won so well, I had to say to him, well, you'll have to ride him and we'll have to look for a jockey for the Triumph, but Steve made a big contribution, and I'd like to thank him.
Was it your plan to go off among the leaders today?
To be quite handy, yes. You know, I didn't give Richard too many instructions. He's ridden him and he's schooled him, but I felt on that ground he wanted to be very handy and near the fence.
But he's won very, very easily, really.
Yes,
could he be a champion hurdle horse for next year?
You would have to think he could be, you know. That's only his 3rd race.
But you're a man who enjoys his cricket holidays in the winter in your homeland in Barbados. What are you going to do now?
I don't think it'll interfere with that. This didn't.
Well, it's lovely to see you here, and many congratulations.
Thanks very much.
There is Michael Stoute, just testing the breast girth. Obviously, there'll be a lot of equally dangerous rivals in the Triumph. I should think Cheltenham would suit him all right there, wouldn't you?
I think so. He's a horse that obviously gets the trip very well. And a lot of these flat horses, when they come jumping, I think a few of the flat trainers think this game's a lot easier than it actually is. This horse knows he's had a race today.
Yes, Michael would no doubt have not had him absolutely.
I can't remember Michael having had a runner since Steeple Bell. I think it was Steeple Bell.
A jumping
used to win
runner.
For him.
That's right. And Sheikh Mohammed has had a jumping runner before. I'm far from certain that he's had a jumping winner. And it would be the best thing that could happen to jumping if he would take an interest, but I somehow don't think it's likely.
Well, I think they'd enjoy the festival beating if they can get Sheikh and his brothers over.
Yes, but most of the winter they prefer to be in Dubai.
Well, here's Michael Stoute. Many times we stand in this position on the flat, but I've never spoken to you as a jumping winner before. How many jumping winners have you actually trained? Steeple Bell you had, didn't you?
I've trained two, but I think this one's been trained by James and Andy and Dave Allen and all the others at home, yeah. I haven't had too much to do with him.
Michael, what did you make
Steve has schooled him a lot.
of his performance? Because, well, they're sort of pressure days for the horse, really. I feel rather sorry for him.
Well, you know, we went on any pressure. You know, he needs experience.
Yeah.
It's his first time over hurdles. He's done it adequately, and Steve says that'll do him a power of good. Well, it must, you know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how he performs next time. I'd really just try to give him one more race if he jumps satisfactorily, and then have a crack at the Triumph.
And going jumping with him, how early did that plan form? He was gelded at what stage?
Oh, we gelded him as a 2-year-old in the spring. We decided, I think, after his last race, after the Ascot Festival, that we wouldn't run him anymore in the flat. And Anthony Stroud said, well, why not race him over hurdles? He's a gelding. We're going to be hanging around with him for a while.
But there's no plans for M. Stoute to start becoming a big hurdle race trainer?
No way. One's enough every few years. I promise you that.
Michael, good luck in the Triumph.
Cheers.
Well, as always, a real privilege to be with Sir Michael Stoute. Actually, we're behind a picture of the great Twin Oaks, who was a terrific chaser who ran round here. And by pure coincidence, Sir Michael, you are a Twin Oaks winning trainer, Fair Salinia and Unite. How about that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You've got a good memory. I'm surprised.
Well, that's, I know, the kind of statistic that grabs on a man like you, gets you ready for an interview.
Well, we'll have to see.
Big day, big day. Let's start off with Mekong quickly in the 150. Well fancied. What about this ground?
Well, he goes on soft ground, but this is going to be terrible ground, so I don't think any of us know. And he had a hard race in the Melrose just 14 days ago, so I would be very guarded.
With Enable and Crystal Ocean, when you saw Enable was going for the September Stakes, had you already thought, I'll run Crystal Ocean, or did you think, oh, this will be quite good to take her on?
No, we knew for a long time that that was going to be her target, but it was my fella's target for a longer time, because I didn't fancy going to Ireland or Longchamp just 3 weeks before the Arc in case he were to run in the Arc. I'd rather his prep be 4 weeks off it. So the September Stakes suited me, and yeah, it needs a workout. We know what a machine she is. We got to give her £8. I wouldn't expect to beat her, but my fella needs to run.
You've given David Probert a big chance, which suggests that you have seen what I think a lot of us have seen, that he's doing really well.
Yes, he's got quite a good strike rate for us, actually. He's very capable.
Regal Reality?
There again, he would go on soft ground, but will he go on heavy? I don't know.
And Midi is beautifully bred.
Yes, but that's tough. He comes in there off 88, but he's progressing nicely, but that's very, very competitive.
And you want to win this trophy here, the Sprint Cup, with Ektidar, but the stable, well, the retained rider has ditched you for Tasley. That can't have improved your confidence, Sir Michael.
Well, I still think he's going to run a very big race. I'm a fan of Ektidar, and he's done very little wrong if you look back at his races. He was a little disappointing in the July Cup. Other than that, previously he was unlucky at Newbury in the race before the Commonwealth, and he seems in very good shape, but I just hope he can swim.
Always great to talk to you. Thank you, Sir Michael.
Cheers.
What did you make of the ride? I mean, you've had Walter Swinburne riding for you, Kieran Fallon, Ryan Moore winning derbies for you previously. What did you make of the ride from Richard Kingscote?
Well, I've been impressed with Richard from the time he came and got involved with us. And I was very confident that he would do the job today.
What do you think his key assets are?
Well, I think he's a deep thinker. He has beautiful hands, and he's calm.
Yes. I was about to say, he's just like his horse, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And how about you? Now, you were in the press conference just now. You were invited to reflect on the fact that it had been 12 years since Workforce won the Derby, and invited to wonder whether you had thought, am I ever going to be here today again? And you eventually answered the question. What is your reflection on that? What were you thinking over those times?
Well, you realise that your chances lessen, but I wasn't paranoid about it. I was just hoping one would come along, and it did.
So is that kind of your philosophy? You're just taking it as it comes to you, not forcing about it, not trying to worry about things you can't control? Give me an insight.
Yeah, well, look, things are very different in my life, now, and we'll just have to see how things go,
And it must have been a terribly difficult time, and I'm sure that you must have felt the support and the love from racing fans towards you during that time.
Yes, absolutely, because she was very popular.
She was. She was wonderful.
Yeah, Coral was just great in every direction.
She was. Everyone's delighted for you, Sir Michael. It's a wonderful day. Many congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, Crystal Ocean's won all 3 of his starts this year, and he's won at Ascot, course and distance, and the ground may be fast, but actually he's impervious to ground, so I'm not concerned about that.
And he's from a family that seems to improve with age.
Yes, they do improve, that Rothschild family, and it's a very good family too, good, honest horses.
And winning the Hardwick, do you think he needs to step up again to win a King George, or do you think that level again would do the job this weekend?
Well, I haven't seen the final field yet, but listen, he's entitled to go and take his chance for sure.
Stoute, obviously Ulysses is a contender for the Breeders' Cup turf. Can you tell me a little bit more about your plans?
Well, we don't have a plan, because the plan is the Arc today. But it has always been on his agenda since he was 4th at Santa Anita last year. But we'll have to see how he takes the race today, and how we think he is. But it's a possibility if all goes well.
And what do you think about Del Mar?
Never been, so I'll have a lot to learn.
You've obviously got some fantastic memories from the Breeders' Cup. Can you just tell us about one of them?
Well, we have 7 of them, because we've had a lot of luck, and 5 at Santa Anita. We love it there. Sorry we're not going back this time.
We'll see you there.
At Del Mar.
Look at the wonderful job Michael Stoute has done.
Stagecraft is going to win this very comfortably indeed. Dartmouth is just in front. Drogon is going to win it in tremendous style.
The Platinum Jubilee Derby, the Desert Crown.
Marvel wins the King's Stand.
It's Golan who wins the King George. Exidor holds on to win.
What a day for Sir Michael Stoute. Conduit won the King George. Dream of Dreams wins the Diamond Jubilee.
Sir Michael Stoute, the winning most trainer at Royal Ascot.
Well, the Arc is a race I've always wanted to win, and I thought Opera House was very unlucky because he was a top of the ground horse and he ran in a swamp and got beaten about 3 parts of a length. Azud had bad luck in finishing 4th. We just kept knocking at the door in that race.
Yeah, well, it's the premier race in Europe, I would say, and I really felt Workforce had a big chance. And he was a high-class horse. He'd won a Derby, and things went wrong in the King George. But
Well, he'd had a very hard race in the Derby, which you said afterwards, you know, oh, I think I gave him too hard a race because he broke the track record and won a long way. So we never even considered the Irish Derby. But in fairness, I thought we had him in really good shape for the King George, and it was disappointing and worrying because clinically we couldn't find anything wrong with him.
In second came Blanco. In third then is Hume Zane, followed by Daria Kana, Workforce.
I'd felt I'd made a mistake at Ascot, and we'd learned from that, and instead of riding him so aggressively, we wanted to relax him, and we had a nice stall in 8. He settled very well, pace was on, there's a big field, he travelled around very smoothly. He always felt like he would win the race. It was just if I could find the room. You know, he was a bit caught in traffic, but he travelled so well. Every gap that came, he was able to take.
Festa is running a big race, moving into it stylishly on the outside. It's the Japanese runner being tackled now by Workforce, Ryan Moore. It's Nakayama, Festa the leader. Workforce the...
And then he was very brave in the last furlong. Put his head down and you know, fought all the way to the line.
Serafina from the clouds. Workforce gains the upper hand now. 100 yards left to go. They race to the line. Workforce has won it.
It was worrying watching it that, you know, whether the splits would come, and listen, it was a very good ride, but I know I'm easy to ride for, so it helps. You excluded the splits great, and they came just in time, in fairness. And he was very brave and very professional.
Workforce has won it. Workforce has won it by a head.
Cheer to our viewers, and a winner like that will bring much cheer to you.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with him, and you know, he's been showing promise, but I thought he did it very professionally.
Which in some ways one might not have expected with the way the horse was beforehand, because of all the horses he probably made the most noise in the paddock.
You make a lot of noise too.
I'm worried about the way you're looking at my hair at this minute, Sir Michael.
No, I'm not. I'm trying not to look at it.
Tell me, how satisfying for you to have an offspring of the great Ulysses look as promising as this chap does?
Yeah, it's great. You know, Ulysses was a top-class horse, and let's hope he can really pick up and get going now.
What have we got on our hands here? Because obviously on pedigree he'll stay further. He's made a very promising debut.
Yes, we've got to sit back and think and give him a couple of pieces of work when he's freshened up. No plans at the moment.
Is that a nice surprise? Or, I mean, it's not a nasty surprise, obviously, but in other words, would you have expected what we just saw?
You don't know. There's none run. You don't know what the opposition is. You know your horse is useful, and just finding out time.
And finally, Sir Michael, for many people this season is all about seeing Desert Crown again. We believe we'll see him in the Brigadier Gerard. You're the record holder in that race with 12 wins. It's 32 years since Stagecraft won it for you, but your greats won that race. The Pilsudskis, the Opera Houses, the Workforces, the Not Now Gatos. Desert Crown is back. How excited are you to get him back?
Well, we're getting him back. You know, he's in strong work now, and we're going to just see how he progresses. But so far things have gone very smoothly.
His problem was never a massive one, was it?
No.
Ultimately, the Arc is the target.
Come on, relax.
Well done, Sir Michael.
Cheers.
Has won the big race here at Ascot with Bay Bridge. He was terrific today. How would you sum up that performance?
He was very brave, and you know, absolutely thrilled. The staff have done a great job with this horse, and we're all delighted.
What were your expectations coming to the races today with him?
He was in very good shape. He was in very good shape because he came back from Sandown and he'd had a knock, and we had to back off him. So he's been very consistent this year, with the exception of that race. Yeah, we obviously, you know, we thought the favourite was unbeatable, or I did, but I thought he had a great chance of being second because he's in terrific shape.
I know you're great friends with William Haggis. You've beaten a champion there in Baid.
Yeah, well, I hope we're still friends.
I'm sure you are. Just finally, how would you sum up your year? Obviously, with Desert Crown at the start of the season, how would you put it into words?
Well, delighted to have won those 2 Group 1s, and the staff have been brilliant, and it's down to them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
An 8th Lockhinge, 33 years since your first. When you came to the races today...
You were only 10.
I don't think I was born then, unfortunately, Sir Michael. But another remarkable, historic achievement. When you came to the races, did you expect a performance of that nature from your horse?
We knew he was in very good shape. Jade has made this horse. She rides him, she looks after him like no other could. And Sarah Denif, who's the head girl at Freemason, they put a lot of work into this horse. He's had his niggles over his career. But I don't think we've ever had him in better shape than he is this spring.
I spoke to Jade. She was in floods of tears afterwards. Good. She said that she'd looked after him since his days of yearling. How important is it having staff like that in your team?
Oh, you can't do it. You can't do it without them. But she is particularly dedicated.
What's the plan with this horse now?
I would think the Queen Anne, but he's a versatile horse, you know. He's won at the 1.25 miles as well. I would think the Queen Anne would be what Sheikh Hamdan would want, and I think it would be the right move.
A brilliant day for you. Well done.
Thanks.
In the video that you felt particularly honoured because Sir Henry Cecil, who was such a great friend of yours, is in the Hall of Fame. Mr. O'Brien, again, someone who you clearly look up to so greatly, is a Hall of Fame trainer. How do you feel about being mentioned alongside those two trainers?
Well, I think it's wrong, but I'm very flattered.
Yeah, I don't think this room would think it's wrong, and I don't think that the fans of the sport
Well,
think it's
Vincent
wrong.
was something else, and Henry was one of the world's greatest trainers. He just had such a gift.
I think his patience is second to none. That's likely why his horses improve as much as they do. And it works, and he's shown time after time how well it works.
I think Michael being inducted into the Hall of Fame is very fitting, and everybody would agree that he completely deserves it.
I think a word quite loosely used is legend, but he is a legend of horse racing, and he's respected throughout the world, and you know, it's fitting that he's been inducted.
Well, your first winner you never forget. Shergar had won his Derby trials in outstanding fashion, and he was odds on, so he was expected to win. We expected him to win, but it was still a great thrill. I think he won about 10 lengths, and Swinburne was pulling him up the last thrill.
He sees things other people just don't see, even when you've been here for 20 years. You know, I guess a recent example would be with our Derby winner. Obviously, we all know he was a good horse, and we all, you know, had high hopes for him. But a couple of weeks before the Dante, he just came back from what I would describe as a routine gallop, which was a nice piece of work, and we were all happy with. But there was just something different about the boss. Like, he'd just seen something, and his demeanour changed. After that, it was like he just knew he had a Derby winner.
Desert Crown wins in sensational style, an easy winner.
It's been a huge privilege for me to be involved with Sir Michael, and I think I'm very lucky and very grateful to have been in the position I've been in.
To be inducted into the Hall of Fame and joining Vincent O'Brien, who was my hero and probably the greatest trainer that has ever lived, and Henry Cecil, also a good friend, and I'm very, very grateful.